Hey guys, thanks for coming and joining this session. This session actually is broken into 3 different segments: mobility, superstretch, and melt. So you can do any one part or you can do all 3 together. You may need a mat, of course, 2 blocks as your option, and a melt roller for the final section. So if you don't have a melt roller, you can always use a standard roller. It's a little higher and a little harder, but you can get some of that same work done as well. So come along and let's go. Just begin to breathe nice and slow and deep. Remember, intentional breathing. It's not over breathing, it's not held breathing, it's just relaxed breathing. Ideally, you're going to breathe through your nose and move into nice relaxed posture. Widening out the rib cage, connecting your body through your breath. Bring your hands out in front and gently, slowly roll yourself back. Let yourself settle back into your shoulders, hips, and feet, feeling evenly weighted on each particular part. 2 more breaths. We're going to start with the feet. Lift the heels, lift the toes. Now drop the knees and back and forth. You don't have to go too far. We're just kind of opening the hips, giving those hips some mobility here. Bring one knee into the chest at a time. Take the arms a little bit wider away, and we'll just begin with gentle rocking side to side with those knees. Keep your tailbone slightly tucked so you don't work into your lower back. And notice you might shift a little bit on the mat as you go. Adding an upper leg extension. So top knee is going to extend out. You're going to feel this movement all the way down into your hip. Two more. Now we're going to add our head and our eyes. So as you roll to your left, you want to drop your eyes down in that direction. Then bring your head up, look to your right, and you'll drop your knees down in that direction. So let the head go first, and then let the legs follow. One more, each side. And start travel down the mat just slightly. Resetting your feet. Reset your back on the mat as you need to. Bring those knees once again into your chest. We're going to do that open gate for thoracic movement. Exhale, drop both knees to your left. Take your arms still out to the T. Take your right hand, cross all the way over, and then reach past your left, making a half circle overhead, roll back. Same thing. Stay on that same side. We'll do 5. You can let your eyes move first, then your upper body following your hand if you want.
bring those knees up. Reset your back as you need to. Pull your knees into your chest before you lower your knees to the ground. Make sure your upper back is nice and level to the ground to begin as well. Deep breath, inhale. Look towards your right hand. Circle that top arm up and over. Reach past that arm, open, follow or track the arm with the eyes if you'd like for more neck mobility. Kind of integrating that vestibular system one more time. And then let's bring both knees back into center. Drop your right knee and left. Breathing. Take your arms up and over your head. Just find that length there. Exhale, circle your arms up and around. So just a big circle, both arms. If you have clicking, popping, or of course, if there's any pain, shorten the range of motion and or slow the movement down. And of course, you can always do less repetitions. One more time, take your arms up and over your head. Place your fingers together. Drop your thumbs towards your head, widen out your elbows, drop your elbows to your rib cage and hands to your side. Fingertips come together, arms overhead, thumbs, elbows, ribs, hips. Breathing. So we're creating connection at your fingertips, kind of letting the upper back widen as you take your arms around, releasing the tension, working in all that big range of motion of those shoulders. One more. Let's go the other direction, up and over, elbows and down, up and over, thumbs and elbows, and down, up and over, thumbs come right to the top of your head, elbows are wide, then extend, and then around. 2 more times. Good, from here, bring your right knee and left knee up, hands in line with your knees, and a nice easy dead bug. Now, if you need a modification for this, you're going to drop your foot to the ground, or if that's still too much, your arms can start overhead and you'll tap your opposite knee. Let's do 5 more each side. Last one each side. And now give them a nice little pull and then begin to rock. Coming up and rolling back. Now instead of rocking, if you have difficulty with rocking, you can just roll back into your hips and come up. Two more. And last one. Stay up. Open your legs out nice and wide. Open those knees out nice and wide. Fold forward. Exhale. Taking that right leg up and around. Sitting nice and tall. Exhale again. Fold forward in that 90-90 stretch. Inhale, come up. Right leg comes up and around. Body's tall, hinge forward. And then let's alternate. Right leg back and left leg back. Nice and tall. One more time, each side. Right leg forward and left leg forward. Bringing yourself to the front. Just drop your knees left and right. Try to keep your posture nice and tall. And last ones. Come into an all fours position, hands and knees, and begin to do your knees rocking. Ideally, your tongue is still at the roof of your mouth with your mouth closed. If you find that that's challenging for you, slow your movements down. And then single leg knees rocking. Step your right foot forward. And then switch to your left. About 6, 8 on each side. And we're going to do kickstand knees rocking. So you're just going to take your right leg out and sit back again as far as you can. See that your right foot is flat to the ground, or at least be intentional about how your foot is. So it's not too far behind you where you don't know it. You want to try to have it ideally straight out from your hip if that's available to you. You can always add a rotation of that hip as well. A little bit of variation. And then do the other side. And we're going to take that right leg and we're going to go back behind. Got my equipment in the way here. And then bring your right knee forward. Take that right leg back and forward, back and forward, moving that hip. Other side. Take your left leg back, bring your left knee forward, the same wrist. And back to center. Reach out right arm, left leg for bird dog, left arm, right leg. Then skier is next. Reach out right arm back with left leg back. Two more each side. Sit your knees nice and wide, point your toes back, get into a nice little child's pose. Exhale. Walk your hands back. Take your left hand and reach towards your right side. And then come back to center. Look towards your left shoulder. Reach towards your left side with your right hand. Look up as it's comfortable. Push the bottom hand down to create that connection all the way up into your shoulder. One more time. And then coming back up into all fours. curl your toes, lift your hips, walk your feet back into a nice little downward facing dog. Bend your knees, walk your hands back to your feet. Let's bring those arms up and overhead and down. Two more times, reach up. And last time, circle up and around. And exhale through. Swing your hands behind you, interlace your fingers, lift your chest up. Drop your chin, push your hips back a little further, bring your hands back to your center, and round as you push out with your hands. Inhale to stand. Take your hands behind your head. Let the index finger just under the base of the skull, thumbs just underneath your jawline. Lift your chest as you lay back. And then pull your elbows in and drop your chin slightly towards your sternum. Inhale, lift your chest, turn your palms up, bring your hands underneath your chin, and just allow your elbows to reach up. Turn your palms back towards the sky, take your hands back. Breathe in, take your arms once again up and over your head, push your hips back, dive back, and forward into a forward fold, head is down. Walk your hands out to the push-up position, breathing. Lower yourself into the mat, pull your shoulders back, gentle cobra, elbows in. Lift the chin, lift the chest as it's comfortable. Exhale and lower. Curl your toes, press yourself back up to the push-up and to downward facing dog. Inhale, bring your right hand to your feet. Bring your right foot to your hand. Drop your left knee, take your right hand to the sky. Watch that lower shoulder stays back. Pull your armpit towards your rib cage. Take your right hand behind your back. See if you can look further over your right shoulder. Look up. Circle that right arm around. And then let's open. As you can, drop your left elbow to the ground. Drop your right elbow to the ground. Bring your right hand underneath, left hand underneath. Reset that right hip. Back knee lifts. Push back to the plank. Lower yourself into the mat. Roll those shoulders. Lift your chest. Exhale, lower. Reset your hands. Push to downward facing dog. Step up. Left foot up to your hands. Body's nice and tall. Chest is lifted. Drop your back knee. Breathe and inhale. Reach your left arm up. Take that left hand behind the back. Continue looking over your left shoulder. Take that left arm up and over. Hands to the inside of that left foot. Drop your right elbow. Drop your left elbow. Left hand comes underneath, right hand lines up. Lift that back knee, step that left foot back, come into plank, lower yourself into the mat, reposition the shoulders, lower yourself back down, reset your hands, downward facing dog. Walk your feet up towards your hands, walk your hands back to your feet, walk your hands up the front of the body. Roll the shoulders up, back, and around. And let's come to a wide angle. Feet are much wider than your hips. If you want to grab a block, you can have a block. So just in case the ground is a little low, body's nice and tall, push your hips back, hands to the block at any level or the ground. Ideally, you want to make sure your hips aren't pushing back behind your heels. So you're over your feet still. Just hold this wide angle stretch first. And as you need to, hand on the block, take your other hand to the sky. Open the chest, turn from your belly. Watch that your head's not hanging down, but as much as you can, keep your head in line with your spine. Exhale, lower that hand down, breathing, hold. Take the other hand to the sky, reach up. And we're holding each one of these between 3 and 5 breaths. You can do 2 on each side or 1 on each side. You choose, you can go back to the other. Lower back down. Let's bend the right knee. Keep your left foot flat. Put your right elbow against your right knee so it doesn't cave in. And then bend your left knee and slide over to your left. Keep your hips low throughout this. So don't lift your hips up out of the squat as best you can. Just slide from side to side. Your desire is probably to get out of this deeper squat position. Push. One more time, back through the center. Lift your hips up, breathing. And again, we're gonna go with your right hand or left hand up. Keep that chest long, tall. Exhale and down. And then left arm up. Exhale down. Let's take our block with us, roll all the way to your left leg. So facing a short end of your mat along the long side. Take that block, take it to the outside of your left leg. Drop into your right heel and roll up to triangle now. So a similar but different movement from the wide angle stretch. Breathing, opening the hips a little bit more. Strengthening the back leg. Lower your right hand down. Take both arms straight up. Breathing. Circle your hands around. Take your right heel up. Breathing. And then rotate all the way around to the other side. Again, block us to the outside of the right foot. Drop that left heel this time. Roll the belly towards the sky. Open the chest. Bend that right knee. Bring both arms up, overhead reach. Circle your arms around, left hand to the ground, left heel lifts. Let's drop that back knee this time. Bring your right foot back, all fours. And then lift the tailbone only, tuck the tailbone. So watch that you're not moving your belly so much or your ribs, mostly just moving the pelvis. And then now, lift the tailbone, lift the chest, pull the shoulders back, tuck the pelvis, chin towards the sternum. Inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the chest. Exhale, round the back. And again, inhale, lift. And exhale and tuck. Point the toes back, put your big toes together, slide those hands out, come into a child's pose. Come up about half the distance, if that. Reach your right arm towards the left corner of your mat and sit back, getting the side stretch on your right side. Both arms are equal as best you can. Tilting, side bending is not about compression on one side with release on the other. Inhale, come up. Let's walk the left hand to the right corner. Sit back to the left hip. And then come up, both hands center, head down again. Bring yourself up. And then let's end up on our back. Arms out wide, back to the T. Good. Draw your right knee and left knee to a tabletop or up and towards your chest. Make sure your lower back is really, truly kind of pulled up slightly. A slight tuck in the pelvis. And let's drop both knees to your right. Make sure your right shoulder's out from underneath you. Sink into that left shoulder. Big breath. Both knees up, and let's go to the other side. You may need to reset yourself in the middle of your mat. Both knees up. Drop both knees to the other side. Make sure that shoulder is out from underneath you. Notice how the breaths just really help to open and or soften things. Bring your knees up, place your feet back on the ground. Arms out wide. Soften the body into the ground. Now checking your masses and spaces. Masses and spaces, think about the things that should touch the ground and ideally the things that should be off the ground. So starting with your head, noticing the weight of your head sitting back into the ground. Notice if the weight feels even or central over the shoulders. Ideally, the weight is behind the bridge of the nose. The space of the neck is the next spot. Notice if it feels elongated, compressed, or if it feels overly arched with your head back. Ideally, your neck feels long, nose pointing mostly to the sky. Next to the mass of your shoulders, into your arms, down to your lower rib wall. Ideally should feel like one space touching the ground. Giving you the concept of that stuck stress, which is just stress that builds in the body to kind of distort how your body feels or how you even move. And over time, it just gets more and more stuck, and then that becomes your normal. So stuck stress would be in your upper back and shoulders, would be maybe one shoulder feels pulled up or down, you feel bowed in your upper back, or one arm feels longer than the other or doesn't touch the ground evenly on both sides. Rib cage to navel ideally should still be a mass on the ground. If you have stuck stress that feels like an arch in your back, ideally also the space that actually should be belly button to pelvis should feel about the same space as your neck. Taking your attention to your pelvis, your thighs, your lower body. Ideally, your pelvis should feel level to the ground. If you have stuck stress, you may feel tilted, overly tucked, or off position. Also, your hamstrings ideally should be touching the ground. If they're stuck stress, you may feel them bowed off the ground. Hamstrings are pretty challenging to notice for some people. The space behind your knees, evenly sized and shaped. Calves should be evenly touching the ground on both sides. The space between your ankle and really your foot, your true ankle, should just be evenly rounded, almost like the base of your neck, the small of your back. And then your feet, ideally, they should be slightly turned out to 10 and 2, not pointing forward, not just disorganized. Dividing the body now in half to equal sides, right and left sides. Just notice if one side feels longer, one side feels more weighted. This is your functional or your reflexive balance, what your body perceives your balance like when you're not trying to pay attention. Remember, your balance is there to support, protect, and stabilize you, as is the superficial fascial layer throughout the entire body. Let's take your roller and let's place it behind the legs. Just let your body rest on the roller. Ideally, you should feel the weight of your roller on this position in the middle of your thighs. And then let's just bring the legs in and out. You can think of a lower body jack position. You can also turn the toes out, turn the toes in. More of a twisting or a figure 8 motion. And then pause. Pick a leg to start with and do just the leg. And remember, this motion is more of a twisting than just a swinging that leg from the hip. You want to do less than more and feel the pull of the tissue more so than the movement of the tissue in range of motion. Remember, with a melt roller, it's a roller per se, but it's for 3 different things very specifically. For you have a twisting, you have a gliding, you have what's called friction on the roller, and then of course you're going to have some rolling, but it's in small ranges of motion. And then the other leg back and forth. Again, you can do heel in and heel out. You can keep your foot parallel with the other foot. You're touching behind here, which also is affecting the sciatic nerve line, giving your body a lot of information, a lot of release of tension and stress. And then pause. So a gliding function is just a rolling, kind of one directional or a repeated directional movement. A true rolling would be up and down, just in one direction potentially. And then friction typically is more of a transverse movement, kind of twisting or moving, giving friction to the muscle, the superficial fascial layer of the body. Bring your heels in. Let's bring the hips up. And ideally your hips are level on the roller here. You want your fingertips to be able to be on your iliac crest, thumbs kind of roll around so that the hips are below the level of your SI joint, or the roller is below the level of your SI. Bring your right knee up, just make sure you can tolerate the weight. The left leg up, heels drop so you're not contracting the quadriceps. And then let's just keep those knees together and we're stirring. So again, another frictional move. This is called SI joint shear. And very often people have or feel like their pelvis is tilted or twisted. And ideally, melt is going to help restore hydration to the joints more so than really functioning the muscles. We did a lot of muscular work with mobility and with Superstretch. And then one more time all the way around. Bring your knees together, pause, and then you're going to do a small march. Now if you're on a harder roller, you can put something soft on it, or just make sure that you're going slow enough so you're not creating tension and pain, and or come on and off it more frequently. Go ahead and pause, bring those knees in. Let's drop both knees into your chest, give them a nice little tug. Hold underneath your right knee and then push your left. So you're gonna push and pull with your right knee and then push with your left. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. Exhale, release, do the same thing on the other side. Hold underneath the left knee, press into the right thigh. You're pushing out with the left knee, pulling in with the left hand, and meeting the pressure with your right hand. Inhale, exhale, come back to center. Just notice if the knees feel just a little bit more evenly weighted in. Hold once again underneath the right leg, extend the left, lower the left. The pelvis is gonna level itself out a little bit. Notice my foot's not hanging and taking me to the ground. I'm keeping my pelvis level, which makes my legs shoot out. My other leg is pulling strongly into my right shoulder. Left arm is gonna go overhead, taking a deep breath, and then exhale, tuck your pelvis. Bring the knee and the hand back together. This next time I want you to turn your head away from your extending knee. Inhale, extend your leg up. Extend your arm overhead, but not to the ground. Keep some tension there. Pick your head up, look towards your right shoulder. Take a deep breath. Exhale, tuck your pelvis as you exhale. Inhale, head center, arm and leg back to the center. Take a deep breath. Again, if you're on a higher roller, you can take a moment. Bring those hips level. Bring your left knee into your hands, right leg up. Make sure that your right arm doesn't go to the ground as you lower your right leg out. Notice the difference. The reason why I set up is so I'm not just always thinking where I need to go. I'm letting my body kind of, oh, I'm a little bit more mobile here. Maybe I need to be a little bit more aware of this and not just let my leg hang. Take your right arm up. Keep the head centered for this first set. Exhale, tuck the pelvis. Inhale, bring the hand back to the knee. You can kind of reset for a second. Again, pull that elbow, pull that knee to the chest. Extend your right leg. This time we'll take the head to the left. Right arm overhead, head to the left. Take a deep breath, and then tuck your pelvis. As you exhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, head center, and then bring the knees into the chest. Drop your right foot and left foot. Lift your hips up. Let's take the roller out from underneath us. Let's do a real quick reassess. Notice even from, you worked the lower half of the body, but you might notice differences in the upper half of the body. Notice if your hips feel a little bit more loose, you might even feel like you're more sunk into a kind of an invisible hole. Head and shoulders may feel more level, more even. Notice that divide amongst down the midline of the body that feels more even or more level on both sides as well. So we want to be able to differentiate when we move an area, can we affect another area? Can we find this area getting work? And that's how the body adjusts anyway. So it's giving ourselves a better concept or understanding of how our body even relates to itself. Slide your feet in. We're gonna roll. We're gonna bring that roller. I'm gonna do it from this side. Take the roller to your hip. Hip is high, and then lift yourself up onto the roller. Double check the roller to make sure you're fully on the roller, so you're not even tipping off the bottom or your head's not tipping off the top. We're gonna finish with a rebalance sequence. Just drop your arms side to side. Your body is lined up right through the center on the roller. So the roller's not moving side to side. You are tilting to the right and to the left, or another variation of a gentle rock, right and left. One of the beautiful things about this is the soft roller can touch really just your entire spine. It's not touching your cervical spine, which is totally fine. And your pelvis may be level enough so that you're not touching all of your small of your back. But you're getting a lot of contact points on your spine, which is a lot of information of safety, of how your body's responding, of how your organs are doing. It is your vestibular balance, that ability to stay centered, that ability to stay balanced right and left, inside out, in the organs, in your thoughts even. And then pause in the middle. Take your thumbs, place your thumbs at your navel, index finger right at the top of the pelvis or the base of the pelvis before it goes through the legs, and then fingers kind of in this bowl right here. And just let the weight of your hands settle in. And then without pushing into your feet or gripping with your glutes, inhale, exhale, you're going to tuck the pelvis, let the heel of the hands kind of sink with it. Inhale, exhale, tilt the pelvis. Inhale and tuck. You can see I'm not lifting off the roller. I'm just doing a gentle kind of forward top and bottom rock. And it is a smaller motion, so maybe hard to see. You're affecting the base of the skull, the erector spinae, the muscles that are the levers for the back. One more tuck, or from here, last time to tilt, level. Let's keep the left hand on your belly, take the right hand to your chest, big breath, and then let your hands settle into your body. Breathe into your rib cage. So breathing is obviously the most amazing thing that our body can do for itself, but it can resettle your body. It can help your diaphragm kind of breathe to give you evenness between the top half and the bottom half of your body. It helps the diaphragms throughout your body, so the base of the pelvis, the middle diaphragm, the diaphragm at the neck, so you're breathing easier, you're swallowing, you're digesting easier. You have more capacity to release your organs and move your organs, and then the pelvic floor is receiving that nice dynamic motion as well for elimination, reproductive organ movement. from here, take your hands to your rib wall. Breathe into them wide, so you're not lifting your chest, you're not rising your belly. And then take your hands out so you can see my elbows touching the ground. Then from there, you're gonna reach away from the midline of your body. And then just drop your right wrist, curl your left in, curl your left wrist in, drop your right. So imagining that I have a small weight in each hand and I'm letting that weight settle. Or I could think of tossing a ball from right to left. Or you could even think of, just a whooshing pattern back and forth. Something gently being rocked by the waves of the ocean. Roll your wrists. Open your wrist. Open, lift the elbows. And then reach your hands as far away from one another as you can. And then bring your hands towards your center. Exhaling. And then fingertips towards the sky. Breathing from here, take both arms overhead until your arms or fingers are out of eye line, and then circle around towards your thighs. So double arm circles overhead. Again, just like we did in circles earlier, you might notice that there's clicking, cracking, or popping in your shoulders. Just change the range of motion or the speed. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale and exhale. One hand over the head and then switch. And switch. And switch. 2 more. Pull as if you're reaching your hands towards your feet and you're keeping your armpits, so you're not letting your shoulders hike. One more time, right arm overhead and left. Bring both hands back to the center, almost like you're gonna reach towards just above your knees, and then soften the shoulder blades into the roller. Reach out and soften back. Reach out and soften back. 2 more. And last one. Let your elbows drop, hands drop. Release one leg to extension. Roll to that side. Let the roller come out from underneath you gently. And then lay back on your roller. And we'll do just a settled reassessment. Palms are towards the sky. You may notice immediately that kind of guttering between the middle of the shoulder blades. But then again, let's assess or reassess the body and that masses and spaces. Know your head, the weight of your head feels more even, more level, more grounded. The space at your shoulders, it feels a little bit more plumped or just a little bit more even, less extension, less even height of your neck maybe, ideally for releasing some stuck stress. Shoulders to arms down into your rib cage as well. Your arms feel more level, more even. The ribs, the shoulder blades to ribs down on the mat. How's that back arch doing? Nice and level from your ribs to your belly button with a small back arch that should be there from your belly button to your pelvis. Ideally now your hips feel more evenly weighted. Hamstrings may feel more aware. Back of knees feel more even. Calves settled. Small arch behind the ankle, even in shape and size, ideally. And then maybe your feet feel more level, more even, less pointed or disorganized. All these different things are nice being A, aware, B, just making connections, and C, so you know intentionally what to do, giving yourself intentional breathing, intentional movements to really find the balance in your body. Divide the body in those 2 equal halves. Feel the right and the left side, and just kind of notice what you feel now. Does it feel more even? Like the right is a mimic almost of the left, not just a different body altogether. 2 nice long deep breaths. Slide your feet in so your shins are vertical. Take one arm overhead, roll to that side. Pause on your side for a second. Deep breath. Use your top hand to bring yourself up. Let yourself move as your design is. Move in balance, move in ease, move with a center, move with a sense of awareness and the giftedness you were designed with.